Okay, I think we can start now. So today we are going to talk about characterization of restricted areas. That's how we call it internally, a new tool for defining different strategies for different restricted areas. So let me present myself first. So I'm Bernardino Martin, product owner at RatedPower. I work for the generation area of RatedPower, and I'm in charge of defining and prioritizing the new features that we release, basically. And this year we have been working on this new feature that I will show you today. So restricted areas in RatedPower are polygons where the users that are defined by the users, where we want to avoid basically the installation of structures or other layout elements. Until now, all restricted areas were treated equally. So when you were defining restrictions in the software, the polygons, we were defining the same setback and the same strategies for all the polygons at the same time. And with this new feature, you can create groups of areas by creating folders in the site, and you can give different strategies and different sets for each of those polygons, okay, or for types of groups of polygons. To show you how to use this tool today, we will use Prism. It's another software of Emberos, and we will use it to find a good location for our project, and then we will export all the restrictions from Prism to a shapefile that we will treat it a bit in Google Earth, and then we will upload this file to RatedPower, and RatedPower will define different strategies and different inputs for each of the restrictions, okay? Then we will go for the Q&A session where you will be able to ask me about this feature or other questions about our software. Okay. Okay, that's the introduction. Prism is a software. Let me show you the software here. Okay, where we have different layers with different attributes, and we can use these layers to take well-informed decisions. So in this case, for example, I have enabled two layers, the substations and the transmission lines. And you can see the substations, the transmission lines in pink and the substation in red. For the substation, you can see that they have different sizes, the points. So in this case, I'm sizing them by total capacity. So the bigger the points in the map, the higher the capacity of the substation. Also, as we have a lot of information here, I'm applying some filters to get only the information filtered by the map extent. So basically, when I zoom in, I'm filtering all the data in the map. I also filter the substation to get only the substations between 100 and between 150 megawatts of plant capacity. Okay. Also, I discarded all the substations that are not in Texas, and same with the transmission lines and parcels. Okay, so those are the filters that I applied. And after checking some of the substations, I decided to choose this one here for the webinar today, as it has a lot of restrictions around the substation. I think it's a good example for today's webinar. Okay, so here we can see the other layers. For example, we can enable the parcels. So we can see in pink now all the different parcels around the substation. The substation is here in the center of the circle. And we can also enable, for example, the exclusion layers. In this case, as you can see, we will do our PV plant here in these parcels here on the bottom. And to export all the restrictions, all these restrictions and all the parcels, we will need to use the CVA model, okay, this model here. But first, we will need to define an area of interest as this one here. How can we create this area of interest? We will need to go here and click to advance special filters. And in this case, we'll select a layer that we want to use to filter out the data. We will use for this example the substation that is in the center. And we will create a buffer of 5 kilometers around the substation. If we click on preview, we will create this circle that is already painted here. And then we can save this as an area of interest, okay? I did it already, so I will clear it. Once you have this area of interest, you will be able to launch the CVA model. In the CVA model, you can define all the restrictions that you want to include in your site to treat them later as restricted areas in RatedPower, okay? So here I selected everything basically for this example. And after running the model, we got the result. I will show you the result directly. Let me hide these layers and we'll show you my buildable area, okay? So basically this is the final site with all the restrictions. Well, not the final one, but the one that we're going to export from Prism to treat it and then import it to RatedPower. So here we can see in yellow all the parcels. We can see all the roads in gray. We have the military areas in green, and so on. So if we want to export this as a shapefile, we will have to go here and click on export, choose shapefile, and then here we have to select the layer that we want to export, and then in this case is the custom buildable acreage. Once we have it, we click on export, and it will appear here in our download section, so we can download it, okay? Let's go to Google Earth now to see how can we import this to Google Earth. So here in Google Earth, once we download the file, it's a compressed files, and inside this file, we'll get the shapefile. We just can drag and drop the file to Google Earth. We'll get this message, and we can create a template. And in this case, we want to set the name of the areas, of the layers, basically, in the camset file. We will use the reason as a name, okay? So we can basically get the different names of the polygons for all the restrictions. So if we click on OK and save, we can see here all the layers. They appear as white, but basically we can see, for example, all the roads here, all the buildings, transmission lines, and so on. Okay, we have a lot of polygons in this case. We don't need all of them because we want to work only in this bottom area here. So we can delete some of the polygons and treat them. Also, all the groups of polygons are grouped by in a multi-geometry definition. We can right-click on the polygon and split them if we want to get the individual polygons instead of a group. Okay, and treat all the file. So after working, I won't do it from the beginning, so I will show you the final result, okay, of the site that we want to upload to PDesign, and here you have it. So in this case, we have the polygon. Polygon 1 is just a polygon that I created by merging several parcels, okay? So we have the available area where we want to install our modules and basically our layout. Define it also an access point that is mandatory. I also define a secondary access point. We have a transmission line going from our substation of the project to the substation that we found in Prism that has some capacity. And then the MB point of the substation. And here we have all the folders with restricted areas. This is the interesting part of this webinar. This is the new part. So now you can create folders, and inside the folders, you can set the different polygons. For example, the military bases, I will put them in the restricted area number 1. So I will treat all these polygons at the same. Same with for example, the pipelines. So you can see here we have several pipelines. I will treat them. I will use the same strategy for all of them. So I can put them in folders as this one, and same with with all the bedrock depth in this case. So you have all the layers that you can use, the wetlands, for example, here, and so on, that you can define as different layers. Okay. Once we have the folder ready, we can right click on the folder and save it, and set a name to the file, and then we can go to RatedPower and click here on upload a site as a camel file, and just drag and drop the file here. Okay, I did it already, so here we have the file already uploaded, and I already predefined the colors. I will show you how to do this. So once we have the file, we can go to the layout tab, and here we have the restricted area setbacks and available area setbacks. We will go for the restricted areas, and here we have all the folders defined in Google Earth, and we can set a name of the group for that group and a color. So in this case, we have different groups and colors. Yeah, wetlands are the blue areas, for example, this one here with a color, and so on. We are also able to define the different strategies that we will see now. Okay. Okay, so here, if we, for example, are checking this preview layout, we see that the fence is going around the bedrock depth, but we would like the fence to go over the bedrock depth, as we don't have restrictions for this restriction is just for the modules. We don't want to place modules due to bad restrictions over those bedrock depth, but we don't mind about the fences and roads. So in this case, we can change the strategy for this type of restricted area. This one, restricted area number 7, we can set that the fence can cross the bedrock depth, and we can also let the roads cross the bedrock depth. So if we rerun the simulation, we will see how, for example, the roads here will go over the bedrock depth, and now we won't have a fence between the structures and the restricted area. So we'll have more space to place structures, for example, and so on, so you can better optimize your layout. Okay, let's wait a minute for the design. Okay. For every iteration that we do in RatedPower, we get all the peak power results, energy results, financial analysis, a lot of information, and also a lot of documentation. Sometimes it takes a bit, and in this case we got an error. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe we are doing an update. This is not common, but sometimes happens. So we are live here having a small problem. Let me try to rerun the design to see what could be happening. So let me change this. Okay, now it's working again. Maybe I defined also a wrong input. I'm not sure. But yeah, now we got the new layout with the new strategy. It's loading the last view. Okay, so here we have it. As you can see, now the fence is crossing directly the restricted area, so it's not going around as before. And now we can place the structure much closer to the restricted area. If we want to, we can always define the setback between the restricted area and the structure. In this case, it's set to 0, so we will place as close as possible the structures to the restricted areas. Okay, always respecting the pitch distance and so on. So yeah. On the other hand, we then change the road strategies, so we can do it, and now the road will go over the restricted area also. Let's see, for example, also in this corner here, I don't like the trajectory of the fence, because here we have some restrictions for the slopes. So in these areas, these light red areas are the areas with slopes higher than 5%. But I don't want the fence to go around the slopes. I just want the fence to go over those restrictions. So we can go to the slope 5% restrictions and change it so it can cross the fence. And we'll do the same with the wetlands, for example. So it can cross, and the roads here also. We also have the small areas, restricted area, this red one. Those were small areas where I didn't want to install structures that they were going to be isolated. So we can also let the fence cross those areas and the roads. If we rerun the design, we will see now that the fence will go directly from this corner to this corner here, okay? Also the pipelines, we can change the strategy for the pipelines so they can cross. Yes, the roads, I don't want the roads to cross, but let's say the fence, yes. So we can rerun this. So now we can see that the fence is crossing directly. Just a reminder that these PV plants are really big. We are doing designs of 260 megawatts. Also, if we want the fence to go over these restricted areas because we want the fence to follow the perimeter, we can also change the strategy here in the available area setbacks. So we can go here and change the strategy so for the fence to follow the perimeter instead of to enclosing the structures. So we can rerun the design, and you will see that now the fence will go over the restrictions to this corner and back there. In this case, the setback from available area to fence is set to 0. So we will see how the fence will follow perfectly the perimeter, but we can always leave also an extra setback of 5 meters, for example. Yes, let's put 5 meters better. And we can rerun the simulation. So you can see the iteration before and the new iteration that is loading. Also for the transmission lines, I didn't change the strategy, so we can see that the fence is not crossing the transmission line, but it's going over it, but trying to follow the perimeter. Now we have the 5 meter setback, so we have an extra distance. We can also use the ruler tool to measure this distance. So if we click here and then here, we can see the 5 meters setback. Also, another interesting case, as we are having a 260 megawatt AC PV plant, and we could fit only between 100 and 150 as our filters in Prism. I will change my power requirements to a specific capacity of 100 megawatts, okay, for this design. So if I run this design, I will get a specific capacity, and I want to install the structures on the left, okay. You can see them here that they appear in red. Also, we are discarding the small structures around the restricted areas as they are more expensive than the big ones. So we will keep the bigger one first. And yeah, as you can see, here we are only getting the structures here, but sometimes we have some, okay, the fence is following the perimeter still. I will change the strategy to minimize the fence and also lift this to 0. So sometimes we have the fence following our structures, but we also want the fence to enclose a restricted area where we want, for example, to store water. Sometimes we have like a drainage system and we want to store all the water of the PV plant into a basin. To do so, we can create a restrictions for that water storage area. To do so, I will go back to PV sign to Google Earth, sorry. So I want to put this water storage area over this polygon. So if I go here, for example, I will create a new folder called restricted area number 10. And inside that folder, I will add a polygon, call it basin. Okay, so this polygon here. And for example, I can add also another polygon. Yeah, let's just create one. So I can save this. So I can go back to location and upload a new site. Okay, we're getting this new information of this polygon. Here we can see all the polygons defined before and this new one. We can go now to layout, restricted area, go to the polygon 10 and call it basin and then change the color to blue, for example. And I will change the strategy as I want to keep this inside the layout with all the structures, okay, inside the PV plant. But I also want the fence to leave a small setback, so I don't want the fence to be close to the basin, but to leave a setback of 20 meters, for example. So, no, sorry, from restricted area to fence, that's the setback I want to leave. So if I run this design, we will see now how, as before, the structures are installed only in this area because we are using specific capacity. But now the fence is covering the basin also. It's not going over. Okay, in this case, it was really close also, but yeah. So you can decide which areas are included in the fence and which aren't. Also, you can decide to cross directly as this one or to avoid crossing as, for example, we don't have an example here, but we can use the pipelines as an example, for example, to have the 3 examples at the same time. So in this case, we will have the 3 strategies at the same time. So here we are preventing the fence to cross the pipelines. Here is crossing directly the bedrock depth, and here is getting the basin inside the PV plant. As you can see now, we have a lot of flexibility in rated power with the restricted areas, and I think this will help a lot our users. Okay, let me go back to the presentation. We obtained everything. We create the different types of restricted areas already. We will load them to RatedPower. We define the different inputs for each restricted area, and we are now in the Q&A session question. So let me check the questions here. Okay, I have a question of Jose Maria. Jose Maria is asking, why did I restrict the slopes to 5%? So this was just an example, okay? And I wanted to get a lot of restricted areas in my site. So I did it on purpose. Basically, I put a really low slope restriction, but yeah, you can increase it and you can set different slope restrictions. Also, this was a Prism feature. We also have, let me show you, in RatedPower, we also have this option where you can, basically we have an internal topography that you can upload. And using this topography, you can set the filters directly here, okay? So you can delete the structures that exceed the filters in the north-south direction or in its west, and so on. This is just a restriction layer that I created using Prism, but you don't need to import these restrictions. You can create you can use the topography tool that is a better way of defining restrictions. Also in the 3D map, you can check the 3D model. Okay, so yeah, I answered this question already. There's another question. We have 2 solar plants on our farm. We are planning a third PV plant. Okay, let me show you the. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not able to. Okay, now. So yes, you can see this area is really flat. We only have a certain slopes here where we define the restrictions. Going back to the question, sorry. We're planning a third PV solar plant. We are based in Kimberley, Northern Cape Province, South Africa. Question: Will your technology be able to assist with the revenue rates to EXCOM and the going land use agreement rates? Yes, this is another feature that we are not covering today, but you can. We also launched this year this feature about financial KPIs where you can define your CapEx templates for all the costs. You can define all the OpEx for the operational costs. We are also including soon some new inputs here as you can define OpEx based on not only peak power, but also on AC power or on land cost based on the surface of the available area. And also you can include some fixed yearly OpEx and an escalation factor, okay, for all those operational costs. You can also define some revenues. So energy price for revenue, you can put a fixed rate, basically a fixed price for all the hours of the year, or you can define a variable energy price. In this case, you will need to upload a template, as is explained here. You can download the template here and fill it with your data. You have 3 options. You can define a typical day of each month of the year and using an escalation rate to increase this cost year by year. You can define one typical year of prices and then also use an escalation rate, or you can define a different price for different hour of the simulation. This is the most detailed one. Okay. For the 3 first one, you have an escalation rate. So these 3 you can, for these 2 you can define an escalation rate, also for the fixed price. So yeah, hopefully we will help you. Also, if you are using our tools and you have doubts, you can contact our customer success team and they will help you. And we also are open to receive feedback if you think that we are not covering all your needs. Okay. Next question. Okay, the other question is already answered. You asked, someone asked if we can do this with QGIS, everything that we did before. Yes, if you have the data sources to create all these restrictions, you can create them by using QGIS, and then you can export all the polygons as KML files. You will need to still use Google Earth to create the folders and use this specific nomenclature and everything. I would recommend you to still use Google Earth and to create a folder with everything. We have, also an article called How to Define the Different Types of Restricted Areas in RatedPower, where we explain this. So you can see, for example, all the restrictions exported from Prism or from other tools like QGIS or other external tools. And then you will have to order them by folders and yeah, and upload the site to RatedPower. I really recommend you to read this article first. We also have another article where we explain all the inputs that we were checking today in the webinar, like the name, color, the strategies, and the setbacks. Okay. Going back to the questions, we have another question: how it works to upload the DXF files. Okay, so here in the site part, you have the option to create a new file uploading shape files, or sorry, in this case, DXF files. Okay, so if you have a DXF file, you will have to export it as DWG, and then you can import it here by creating and importing the files as DWG, so the cat files. But we still have some restrictions with the folders, as you cannot create folders inside the tool already. So the front end is not ready yet, but we are working on this. So hopefully in less than, I don't want to give a specific date, but hopefully next month or before the end of this year for sure, you will get the option to create folders also here as we are doing in Google Earth, so you can define different type of restrictions. Because currently you can upload the files here, the DWG files, but you won't be able to create folders for different type of restricted areas. So what I recommend you to do is to upload the files here, then you can click here on the download KML. You will get a file like this one, but with all the elements outside the folders, and then you can create folders for those elements. And then go back to RatedPower and click here on upload site KML and upload it here, okay? We have to do this workaround. I know that is not the perfect solution, but we wanted to release this tool already, even if we didn't have the front end fully ready, so you can start using the tool and give us feedback. Okay, next question. Is PVDesign able to draw restriction zones like trees at Colada 3D? Okay, so all the restricted areas that are defined inside the software are considered as flat restrictions, as we saw in the 3D map before. So basically, you get polygons where you don't install elements. But for the PV Colada, we only consider the 3D layout elements, and we are not including any external elements as trees or other elements, just as structures. But this is something really interesting, and I will take note of this. Thank you. So we can maybe in the future include this in the future include this feature for this tool for the Pcolada file. For the ones that don't know what's the Pcolada file, it's a standard file that you can download from RatedPower that is called 3D Sim here, PVC. And with this Pcolada file, you can upload it to other softwares like EPCists and run again the energy simulation there. We also do the energy simulation, by the way. You can check it here, the results, and you can also see all the monthly losses and the energy report that we generate, or the energy yield results where you can see the hourly generation. Thank you for your question, Jose Maria. Going to the next question. Can we find a sample Google Earth CAMSET file with appropriate structures and nomenclature? A good question. I'm not sure if we have an example here in the knowledge base. If we don't have it, I can upload the one that I use for this No, we don't have it. I will upload to the knowledge base here. You will find the same one that we are using for this webinar, okay? So we'll download this file and upload it there. So you can have access. Thank you, Lorik. And then more questions. Here we have another one. General layout does not have background satellite image. How to add it? Can you show the workaround? Okay. There are workarounds. So first, we are working on implementing this. So the idea is when you download the file in DXF or in AutoCAD, you will get the satellite, the background image. It's something that I think is not currently available, but it will be available soon. I'm not working specifically on this project, so I cannot give you a specific date, but it's something that we are aware of and we're working on. And then as a workaround, I don't have enough time to do it now because I will have to check also the knowledge base. But here, if I'm not wrong, you can always go to here to the knowledge base. Click here, and if you look for satellite, okay, how to add a satellite image view to the DXF general layout in AutoCAD. You can click here, and you can follow all the steps. We also have a video tutorial, so you can check the video and follow all the steps. Then next question. Thank you, Muhammad, for your question. Next question, can we import and define restricted area types directly within RatedPower? So this is something that, as I explained before, we are working on it. So currently you cannot do it because if you go here to the site creation, you cannot get the different folders. So for now, you will have to do this workaround and define everything in Google Earth. But yeah, thank you for the feedback. It's something that we are working on currently, and hopefully we'll have it soon in production, so you can test it and use it. Also, we are working on other tools to merge polygons. Let me show you. This is something that is not defined yet, but for example, if you enable the parcels here, for this design, we used this for parcels, but now you can import them separately and you cannot merge them into one. So we are also working, or we want to work soon. It's not yet, we're not working currently, but we are planning to work on a tool to dissolve the polygons as you can do it in other GIS tool like QGIS. And then we have a last question. So Prism seems to be a very powerful tool. For which countries it's available? So currently Prism is only available for the US and Canada, but we are studying and planning to maybe do to release it for other countries in Europe, but this is something that we are still studying and testing, so I can't give you a proper answer. Okay, that's it. A lot of questions today. Thank you very much for your time and for your questions. I will stop sharing, and yeah, thank you very much. Bye.